Hey guys, in today's video I'm making a video, as you can see in the title, about teams in the World Cup that are considered underdogs that I think will do very well and might get all the way over to the semi-finals even of the World Cup. Now all the teams I'm talking about here are relatively, like, people would think them as decent nations but might not even think they'll get to the round of 16, and every team I say here I'm nearly definite that they will get out of their group. So I've taken into account the fact that the groups, so I'm actually not trying to think of teams, like, it is definitely taken into account, but teams that are good, it also has to be taken into account how hard their group is. For example, Senegal are a very good nation, but they're in a group with France, and Norway. Now look, they're probably favourites to get second place, they're probably a bit better than Norway, but it's not going to be easy, and in that case they could easily get grouped and it wouldn't even be shocking. So I have taken that into account, and I've tried to look at nations like that. I've also done a bit of research into it, and we're just going to go straight into it. I actually would, I'm not going to say bet or anything like that, but I am fairly confident in this first nation. They will nearly 100% get to the round of 16, and I haven't seen many people talking about them, and it's Switzerland. And the reason Switzerland is, for one, their group is absolutely, it's super easy. They've got Canada, which is a good nation, but Switzerland's levels above them. Then you've got Bosnia and Herzegovina, which they'll beat them, and then they've got Qatar, which again they'll beat them. Like, all of those teams I've named are okay, like, relative to Canada is pretty decent, but not on Switzerland level. Switzerland is a good nation, but also I think people forget how many, like, really good players play for Switzerland. For one of the players that I think the best signing in the Premier League the last season just gone, Granit Xhaka. This guy is insane. One of the best DMs in the world, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, there's not many midfielders I can name that are better than Granit Xhaka. And the big thing about DM that people seem to forget is DM controls the whole game. It's the most important position on a team, in my opinion. And Granit Xhaka is one of the best DMs in the world. If you look at any team that is good, they have an elite DM. Now, I know you could say they have an elite every position, but for teams like Sunderland that are considered pretty bad, when they get an elite DM like Xhaka, they end up getting European football. And I think that's completely down to Xhaka, and he transforms Switzerland. He also gets a shocking amount of goal contributions for Switzerland, which a lot of people wouldn't realise unless you've actually looked at their games. He gets a shocking amount of goal contributions. It's because he takes set pieces and all. He controls a team, and he transforms Switzerland into an already great nation into an even better nation. They've also got Ndoi, who plays for Nottingham Forest. He's not very good for Nottingham Forest, but he was actually decent at the start of the season, but he is insane for Switzerland, and he's been playing great. Now, he's playing striker currently, but they also have Mbolo. He might be injured, but Mbolo is decent. Not on the same level as those two guys, but still a solid shout. Then you've got Akanji, who played for Inter this season, is experienced. Yes, he's not in the best form. Yes, he hasn't been at the elite levels, but he is still a great centre-back to have on your team. And then you've got Gregor Kobel, who's just an insane keeper. They have Jan Sommer to back him up, but you've got Kobel, who's the starting goalie for Dortmund and one of their best players. They have a lot of elite players, but it's not just that. They have an insanely easy group, and they have great form. They in their World Cup qualifying group, they didn't lose a single game. They had 2 draws, 4 wins. That is insane. But also, if you look, they haven't lost in so long. They lost 1 game, 1 friendly against Germany, who I think are arguably the favourites to win the World Cup. Now that's a separate topic, but either way, we can all agree Germany are a top 5 nation. And they lost 4-3. Now, I get it's just a friendly, but 4-3 is no joke. That's a good scoreline to lose by. They are an elite nation, in my eyes, Switzerland. Not like that they're going to win it or anything like that, but I'm confident they'll get to round 16. I don't think many people deny it, but I think a lot of people just kind of forget about them. And I would say they have a decent chance of going to the quarterfinals. They are a proper good nation, and it would take one of the top dogs to take them out, in my eyes. So, yeah, Switzerland, that would be my number 1 underdog, and they're kind of the main reason I want to make this video, because I really like Switzerland. Next is a team that I'd say is a bit more hyped up than Switzerland, and for good reason. They're Mexico, and you know Mexico. You can't argue with it. They've got a good group. They've got the passion and they've got the players. Now, in my eyes, they don't have as big stars as Switzerland, but every single player on their squad is good. Whereas with Switzerland, you might have one or two that you wouldn't know. On Mexico, even the ones you don't know are actually properly good. They just play in a league you wouldn't know. But Mexico's group is South Africa, South Korea, and Czechia. They'll wipe the floor with South Africa and South Korea, and they probably will with Czechia as well. Mexico are nearly definitely going to top their group. Nearly definitely. So already you've got a guaranteed top in their group, but they've got the passion. They are not going to be beat 3-0. These comments could age terribly, but I think Mexico are a good shout. They have the passion. They're a South American side, which South American football takes this very seriously. Oh, sorry, they're not South American. What am I saying? But you know what I'm saying. They're what you call it, a great nation, and they're going to compete quite well. They're definitely going to top their group. I'm after throwing myself off by saying they're South American, but they're going to top their group nearly definitely. All the bookies will say the same thing, that they will top their group, and also they're going to fight in their round of 16. Now look, I wouldn't be shocked if they get knocked out in their round of 16, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they get to the quarterfinals. That's what an underdog is. Yes, I know a lot of you might be looking to win the whole World Cup, but let's be fair here, it's more than likely going to be an elite nation that wins the World Cup. I could make a separate video, but I could be talking about teams that I don't think will perform as well as people think they will. For example, Croatia, although they're an elite nation, they're probably not getting to the semis like they have done the last 2 years. They're aging out and their form hasn't been great, but that's a separate thing. Okay. Another underdog I have, and this is probably going to be the last one that I'll say in this video. If you want a part 2, I definitely have a few more suggestions, but these are the 3 that I'm most confident in. Third of all is Colombia. The reason being, again, and this is the most important thing to me, which maybe some people aren't taking into account, but it's the groups. And Colombia's group is Portugal, which obviously will top the group, but then it's Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, I think it is, and Uzbekistan. Not even a chance that Colombia aren't getting second in that group. And third place isn't guaranteed out of the World Cup even. So Colombia are definitely getting to the round of 16. And probably farther. Again, Colombia passion, and they've got some great players. Luis Diaz, obviously. They've got Munoz, who's been great this season and absolutely transforms teams. Lerma, not as good, but still a great player. James Rodriguez, obviously a legend. And they'll all have the passion. So, Colombia has some stars. They've got a really good group, and they have the passion. A thing people kind of don't take into account is the passion. And I think Mexico and Colombia, maybe, I don't know, I just get a feeling that they have the real drive. They really want this. It's a big deal for them. Probably because in general, club level football isn't as interesting to them. Whereas with people from England, they have the Premier League, and obviously England are probably not going to win the World Cup, and England fans will get over that. Whereas fans from Brazil and all, it will be a much bigger deal when they get knocked out of the World Cup, if they get knocked out of the World Cup. But yeah, they're my 3 teams, especially Switzerland. I would really vouch for Switzerland. I was shocked looking into their stats. I really like them. And if you saw my last video talking about Fantasy World Cup and my Fantasy World Cup squad, I have Granit Xhaka and Ndoye both on my squad, and I'm very confident in them. They are very good and they're being underrated. And even the fantasy, because I haven't checked videos, but the fantasy football underrates them because they're cheap on fantasy because they don't think they'll do well. But I think one thing YouTubers won't talk about enough is the group stages and how important they are for teams. Just for example, like Morocco, who are obviously a great nation and got all the way to the semis last season and could go far, but you have to take into account they have I think Brazil, which obviously they're not beating, more than likely, and Scotland. Now Scotland and Haiti, which they will be, but Scotland is a good nation. Yes, they are probably going to get second in their group, but it's not going to be easy, and it could easily happen that their group, they wouldn't be that big of a deal. People seem to think Morocco will do it again. Now they could beat Scotland, all that. I could be wrong, But I think the groups are a lot more important because the World Cup is only an 8-game tournament, which people seem to forget. So it only takes a few games for a team to get knocked out. So Morocco, I still rate them a lot, but like their group is much harder, and that's what you have to be looking at. So I have more teams that I think will do well, but I don't think I'll make a part 2 unless this video does really well and you guys want to see it. But those are the 3 that I am most confident in, from Switzerland, then Mexico, and then Colombia. In that order, I'm confident in those teams. They all have ridiculously easy groups, especially Switzerland, and their players are in great form, especially Switzerland, and then Colombia's are a good shout as well. I don't know much about Mexico's players, to be fair, but I just know they're a really complete, balanced nation, where Switzerland will have a few players that I just will not know anything about. Mexico, all their players play well. I just know that. So Mexico is more of a gut feeling, to be honest. That Colombia and Switzerland are based on stats, players, and a bit of feeling in it. But Switzerland is the one I'm most confident in. Now, this could age really badly. I am kind of putting a bit of my reputation on the line, but I think YouTubers won't put out those ballsy calls, and like they just don't want to make those calls. And look, I'll accept if I'm wrong. And I'm excited for the World Cup, as I'm sure yous are. But these are the teams that I actually think are huge underdogs that aren't being talked about enough and could go all the way to the semis. If, like, I'm not going to say it, but maybe even the finals. But they'll probably get to the round of 16, nearly definitely. And they could 50-50 get to the quarters, which is already, quarters is only, what, 8 teams left, is it? No, it's 16 teams left. No, I'm wrong. It's 8 teams left. Sorry. Yeah. So the quarters is only 8 teams left. So if they get to the quarterfinals, they're already top 8. So if Switzerland get to the quarterfinals, I'm not sure what the odds would be on betting sites and stuff like that. But I'm sure the odds are decent. Like, and I'm not saying to bet or anything like that. But I'm just saying that these guys aren't expected to go that far. So anyways, that's all I have for today's video. I do have another video planned for tomorrow, and for anyone that's been watching this channel and expecting fantasy content, that will be coming out. Today I'm just making an in general football video on the World Cup, but I'll be making a fantasy video tomorrow. I am, as I said in my last video, moving this channel from like it was Minecraft content and stuff like that. Now it's being moved into football content, and I'm using the World Cup as a good starting point to grow the channel into a football channel. I'll be making normal football videos like this, and then sometimes fantasy content like yesterday's video and probably tomorrow's video. So I have a good fantasy video prepared for tomorrow, so please check that out if you're interested. And if you're not interested in the fantasy content, every second day I'll probably be making a normal football video. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.